Welcome, welcome. We are back.
Yay.
Belinda is still standing. And we've got some follow through of the other ladies. So I just think this is going to be a home run tonight. You're going to be the judge of whether it is or not. I'm just very hopeful. I think we've taken this step by step, and I'm very excited. Okay, so we're continuing the draping of the blouse. The reason is blouses are so popular. I want you to love them. I want you to embrace them. I want you to get through whatever's been wrong so that you can have beautiful blouses. That's the goal. And so because of your comments and your suggestions, we asked several ladies. We've gotten all the feedback from really everybody. Just Belinda's here live, but everybody else is in photos. So it's going to, I think it's going to just work out really well. Okay, so I first have to say thanks to Belinda because she's really powered through.
Yeah.
And you've had a lot of stuff going on.
I have had a lot of stuff going on.
Which let me just say to you all, because you don't take a week out to do this, that is a problem because we get little, and I don't have a solution for that other than I noticed that when ladies come to that 3-hour tops workshop or the pant workshop, they actually get it because they put 3 hours aside to where they tune out their outside life and can focus on what we're actually doing. But we're always trying to do a zillion things at one time. And so we get this piece and this piece, we just don't get a chance to put it all together. Belinda had a deadline.
Yes.
So even with all the stuff going on in her life, she powered through because she had a deadline, which is you all. Okay. So because of you, she got it done. All right, so I'm going to kind of remind you where we left off, and we're going to take you through the steps, first with Belinda, and then we'll go to the other ladies. So this is her first muslin. Basically, after the fitting, we did a first muslin. Now, I want to go back. Benjamin, if you'll go to the Belinda folder and go to, we're just going to scroll through because Belinda sent some pictures. That's just of her taking. Go to the next one. This one in particular, I want you to see. Belinda and you all were nervous about, this is showing her arm, it's not wide enough, yada yada. You know, there was some freakazoid going on. And I kept saying to y'all, just ignore it, forget it, it doesn't matter. What matters is total movement. It's total circumference. So that means it's actually the width of the back plus the cap. It'll be fine, don't worry about it. Well, what I say and what you all hear are two different things because...
Right.
That was not heard. So Belinda went home and she created an answer.
Yes, I did.
She decided that she went rogue. She decided she would make up an answer, and she did. And
this is it.
Yeah, this is it, which is, let's go to the next picture because I think they can see this in the picture. Okay, there you go right there.
Yes.
So what I want you to notice in this picture is how the fullness of the sleeve, I probably should be drawing this, but I know we set up drawing. We'll see it. It doesn't matter if you see it right now. But anyway, I want you to see the top of the cap, and I want you to see where her actual shoulder seam is. Go ahead, Belinda.
Now, this is actually the one when I made the first adjustment where we lowered the armholes down. We did not change any of the length of the front and the back armhole.
Okay.
This is also the picture where you see where the darting at the shoulders was too sharp. Once the collar came off, we could see that, and so I had to
Don't worry about all that. Don't worry about it. You guys, and I hate to say this, but because her journey could take us
a long time.
A while, I really I'm pulling up the highlights. I want her to say a whole bunch of stuff, but I may say, okay, not that. Okay. So the most important thing is that what she's discovered and learned, it's really exciting. But I want her to turn sideways on this. And what I want you to see, and you see you can't see it as well, Benjamin, that's why I wanted you to see this muslin picture. Go to the next picture, Belinda. Yeah, it's the same blouse. You really can't see it. Go back to that muslin for me, just back up. You can see it there, even though it's not the final. She still had not made this change on this muslin. Am I correct in that?
That is correct.
Okay, so it doesn't matter, going rogue, none of that matters to me. She had not made the correct adjustment. Now, let me just say that she decided that the sleeve was too tight and she needed more circumference.
Yes.
But in our conversations, she had already told me that when she made the bigger sleeve, it was too big.
Yes.
So I listened to her. I took in all the information. And what I concluded was that the lack of mobility was simply because the cap.
It was too far back.
Yeah. Okay? And that when that sleeve is not moving with you, it will feel tight because you're working against the sleeve. And I think you all can see that. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. What else do you want to say about this one? Because I'm going to explain the parts of the sleeve while you're changing.
Basically, I kept thinking circumference, and it was depth.
Okay, perfect. Because she said, I need a bigger sleeve. It's just really tight. And I said, that sleeve really measured okay. It shouldn't be. And so I think I said send me a picture, or you sent me a picture. I can't remember which. Doesn't matter. But nonetheless, she misdiagnosed the issue. And because she felt like it was a circumference issue, because it was pulling, but it was a circumference issue because the parts weren't in the right place.
Right. Do you want the muslin? The pink one that shows the bone?
The second, yeah.
Yeah.
The one you tried on for me.
Yes.
Yes, that one I want. Okay, while she's changing, I want to go to Benjamin, I think it's A. Please. I want to go over the parts of the sleeve for you all. Because this is where people say to me, I don't want to make patterns. And I say to you all back, you need to know patterns. Your lack of patterns is causing you to make problems I would never in my wildest dreams think you would make, because they're rules against patterns. But because you don't know that, you just kind of do crazy stuff. And I don't mean to say crazy. That's condescending, and I don't mean that. It's just I would never think that you would make that mistake because I know patterns. So we miscommunicate for that reason. Okay, so I want you to understand the cap line. And what I'm going to do after showing you these three things, because when you are duplicating sleeves, you should have these three things. And on the website, there's that chart under features. It says finding your measurements. All of this is on that page, finding your measurements. If you just print that out and hold on to it, that will be wonderful. Okay, so cap line. Cap line is circumference. You need to know that. Cap height, number 2. That is from the cap line to the top of the sleeve. That will give you the armhole depth. And I'll explain that later. Number 1, you don't actually measure on the sleeve. Let's go to the next photo, because that has ease built into it. Nope, not that one. That one, perfect. Okay, so you actually measure the armhole, not the seam cap line. It's called the seam cap line, okay? Which is, from front all the way up over the cap, all the way to the back, okay? So you measure the cap line, the cap height, and the armhole size. Again, you can't measure the cap seam line because it's eased in and a measurement wouldn't be accurate. But you can measure the armhole, and then we know the rules, or you don't need to create a sleeve pattern. You have a sleeve pattern. You just need to measure those three things. Benjamin, I want to come back to this picture, but if you'll go to, I think it's the 1, 2, 3, isn't it? Yeah, 1. Okay, so this is me at the store measuring a, this is a Nick and Zoe. I guess that doesn't matter. That is cap height. Can you see there? That's cap height. The next picture, that is sleeve circumference. And that is armhole size. It doesn't have to be front and back, just total armhole size. It was 9. I knew that armhole is 18. Bam. That's the information I need now to go back to my pattern and figure it out. If you don't have those numbers or you don't have anything to measure, and Belinda mentioned that she did not, we do more trial and error. I'm just trying to save you time and energy. But if you don't have it, you don't have it. All right. Now let's go back to that picture I said I'd come back to. Perfect. Okay, so what I want you to understand, you'll need to see it, we'll need to see it a little bit later, is A goes from the shoulder to the notch, B goes from the notch to the side seam. And that's both the front and the back. There's A and B. If you look at the sleeve, there's A and B also. And if you change A on the armhole, you change A on the sleeve. And if you change B on the armhole, you change B on the sleeve. Is everybody okay with that? And we should probably take a minute to answer questions. Can you do all of this at one time? You're okay? Okay. All right. So A is B. And you know, guys, I left that video on sale. What's up your sleeve? What's up my sleeves? Whatever that video is. Please buy the video. It will help you tremendously. And it will help you phrase your questions to where I can actually understand what you're saying rather than how you're saying it. Okay. So it's critical that you understand the relationship between the armhole and the sleeve, so that when you change one portion, you know what to do with the rest of the sleeve. And I've said that a lot. I know I've said that a lot. The problem is that, like Belinda said, she misdiagnosed the problem. And because she didn't have mobility, she thought it was a circumference issue. But the fact is the cap was so far off that even when she increased the circumference, the sleeve would not move because it was at a diagonal rather than being, vertical like it's supposed to be. Okay, so I can't remember, Belinda. Come on back. She's changed. Maybe you can help me remember. Do you want me to pin this correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how did you, once you got, how did you know you misdiagnosed it? I don't remember those conversations.
I think it's just came to me.
Wait, I remember. Remember you told me what you did?
Yes.
And I started crying?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
so she told me what she did, and I started crying.
She kept saying, "What did you do? How did you do that?"
No, because I never, ever had ever said any of this stuff. And it was like, she felt desperate to solve it, and so she just made a bunch of stuff up. And it didn't work. And then you sent me a picture.
Yes.
And that's when I said, but this is so far wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what we did, and if you'll go to the Belinda folder, the Belinda folder for a minute. The last photo again. Okay, this one right here. I don't know, can you make that any larger? Sorry. Okay, what I want you to see on this photo is that Belinda, when we moved the shoulder seam, we added to the back and took away from the front. Now I'm talking the bodice.
Yes,
okay.
That is correct.
It doesn't matter what the numbers are, and I've purposely not used numbers because I don't want you all to think about the numbers. But notice now that I've gone to the sleeve, and I've slashed the sleeve in the back, and I've added. See, it says back plus, and whatever you take away from the front. So you're not moving the shoulder seam here. You're moving it here.
That's correct.
And you're just simply moving it so that you have control over the front and the back. It does not matter where it is. You don't even have to have a shoulder seam. We know that in sometimes we see like shoulder yokes. You don't have to have a shoulder seam. But if you have a shoulder seam, it's got to have impact on the front and the back. And so it has to be somewhat, Belinda's was so far back, if I straighten it up or change the angle, it wouldn't impact the front. So therefore we added to the back and we took away from the front. And you have to do the same thing to that sleeve. So that's why I'm showing you. The back is a plus, the front is a minus. Again, the numbers don't matter. They did to Belinda. When she got the numbers, they were so large, she
freaked out.
She freaked out.
It's so just like you just freeze.
Yeah, don't let the numbers worry you. Because Belinda finally decided she was the fit model.
That's right.
And her body was perfect. And we were going to get the blouse to fit her perfectly. Nothing else mattered. Okay? Okay. I have a question about shoulder angle. If I move the shoulder seam forward, does the angle stay the same or change? Okay, so it's a good question. There's two different things going on there. The angle of the shoulder is called depth. The position of it is not. So if you're adding to the back and changing the front, you're not changing the angle. Those are two separate concepts. Okay? Okay. So Belinda now, this is her slashed back. You can see this is beautiful. I mean, this is so pretty on her. She didn't do the darts. Now, another thing, I think she was a little, if I can say overwhelmed, sorry.
Yes.
She's a little nervous. Is that she kept thinking she had to make blouses, like completely make the blouses, put the buttons and the buttonholes. Don't do all that. Just this is a front and a back and a sleeve. You can tell whether this is going to work or not with a front and a back and a sleeve. You don't need the collar, you don't need the facing, you don't need you get it. You don't need all that. So it greatly simplifies your process when you're talking 3 pieces and the time it takes to do all that than all those multiple pieces. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I think for me, having the collar on, it hindered me a little bit.
Oh,
So
that's
I probably would...
because-
Well, because once we did the initial fit, I had to change the angle of the shoulder because the collar had thrown the neck off. To where once I changed the angle, well, when I took the collar off, I started having gapping at the neck.
Yeah,
That was hidden by the collar.
I do think that collars and adding pieces on, some of you think it's going to fix it. Doesn't fix it.
No.
Just causes more
No.
problems. Okay, so this was the muslin she made, where you could see that sleeve is beautiful now. She added to the back. She did all those things. And you don't even notice the seam. It doesn't matter where it is. You know, I don't mean to beat a dead horse. I just want you to... I know it's hard because you don't know what to look at.
Plenty of room.
And she has plenty of room. Because, again, the sleeve is up and it's moving and she has, she has the amount she needs. Okay, so in this process also, I can't remember when, I tried as hard not to talk to her because I wanted her to really present everything to you all.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed to answer her questions. But somewhere along the lines, we were talking about fabric.
Yes.
And I felt like her fabric choices, not that they were bad.
We're just a little stiff for the style.
And keep in mind, can I say you're large busted? Is that rude?
No, I've always been large my whole life. So
No, not large.
large busted. I am large busted.
Okay. So rigid fabrics have a tendency to make you look larger as opposed to drapey fabrics will make you look smaller. So we had a conversation about a fabric to use, and we went through and found a fabric that she liked and that I felt would be a better solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so we chose that fabric. And so once she'd resolved this, she was happy.
Yes.
What else did you want to talk about before we put on the final blouse?
I think I just got in the way. I think as things were materializing, I just had to kind of step back through the process and just think. I had to step away to think about what I was doing. And once I started looking at, okay, is it some circumference, length, or depth, then the light bulb started going off. Just like I told you, I kept diagnosing the upper cap as circumference, and it was really a depth issue, not circumference issue. And that was a major breakthrough to me.
That really is brilliant. And I think that, because it's dealing with the rounded back, because it's dealing with fixing that, it would make sense that these are all darts and it's all depth. And this was wider than you wanted it to be. You also wanted to narrow it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You had done that also. Okay, so now keep in mind, this is pattern 600, the classic blouse. I've said to you often, if you're overhauling the blouse, it's a mistake. I don't say that to be arrogant. I say that to help you understand that possibly you're misdiagnosing the issue. Because Belinda, as she took her size and made her blouse, she ended up with what changes?
So when I got done, I was only have 4 real changes. I've got my back changes.
So she's got the rounded back.
The rounded back, which we slashed twice.
Okay.
I have the length, which is
She
lowering
lowered
the bust.
That was a cut and lower. Okay.
Right. The armhole, it was
Right.
adding to the back, taking away from the front.
front.
I did that to both the sleeve and the armhole template that I made.
Right.
And that was it.
So this is the beauty of it, you guys. I want you to see that from here on in, anytime she makes a blouse, she'll simply take the template, put it on from shoulder to side seam, and that's it. So you have to take some relief that once you power through, you don't have to do this every time you make a garment, but you have to discover what you like and you have to put what you like on your pattern. But isn't it kind of exciting?
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting because now I'm number one. I can sew a blouse probably in under 4 to 6 hours now.
Yes.
Which is and put it on and love it instead of being frustrated.
Go put your blouse on. Let's go see the blouse, and I'll answer questions as we go in. If I lower the armhole, what do I do to adjust the sleeve? Hey, you guys, let's just wait on those armhole sleeve questions because I'm going to go through and show you all the changes. Keep in mind that we had Olivia and Donna here, and I want you to go through and show you theirs. And then we had we had a lady who was scheduled and just had a mix-up. She came after the fact, and I fit her. And I'm going to show you some issues that she had and how we resolved them. I've drawn all this out for you, so we're just going to go step by step. So hold on to the questions about relationships. What did you say? Did you say the cap height was too short? I did not. Where did Belinda add to her back? If you go back and watch the last webcast, we slashed the back and we made a rounded back adjustment, and you can go back and watch that. And then I don't understand how the depth in the sleeve was fixed. We'll go through it. Just hang in. First off, I want you to see the process, and then I'll go through and show you the mechanics. Okay? Okay, so this is the blouse she has on now. You want to close that up?
Close it.
Yeah, and so this fabric is $23.64. And I'm going to roll this up just to kind of give some definition. But I am telling you, those sleeves fit her beautifully. I mean, the blouse fits beautifully. And again, when she kept deciding circumference, she was getting this mammoth-sized blouse that just didn't look nice. Mm-hmm. Now, she hasn't got darts in this yet, just because she's not there yet. I told her, don't finish anything. Just do front, back, and sleeve. Because that's enough, and it saves y'all a lot of time in seeing if it's going to work or not. And so that's what she did. She did front, back, and sleeve, and it's really beautiful. It's really pretty.
Thank you.
She's excited.
I am very excited.
Okay. I think we have enough of the process. It doesn't mean you can't interrupt at any time and say, what you want to say that pertains. Mm-hmm. Because I think her journey was amazing, you guys. And again, I want to remind you, she had a deadline. So she knew she had to push through it.
Which made all the difference in the world, because I would have probably given up after the second muslin. And so I knew it wasn't right, but it was like I was bound and determined. I didn't know what to do. And I just didn't know what to do.
So,
I didn't know what to look for.
So she emailed me, and I say to you all, email me a photo. Because a lot of times if you email me and tell me what's wrong and I give you the solution and then you come back and tell me it doesn't work, well, then the diagnosis wasn't correct.
Yeah, and that was what was really great, because here I've never had a properly fitting sleeve to start with, and what I did
so you
felt
couldn't measure
okay.
anything. Yeah.
But, so when she actually looked at it and said, no, and was able to help me with that process.
Okay, so we've gone through and you understand the names of the sleeve. And we've gone through and I've showed you how to measure those parts on a sleeve if you're measuring something. So now what I want to do is, Benjamin, I think it's, where have I got it in here? Let's go back to, yeah, sorry. Okay, well, let's leave that. Let's go ahead and jump ahead. This is Olivia, and I wanted to read her letter. It doesn't matter. I might have left it downstairs. But anyway, basically she made her mom made her blouse. Olivia doesn't sew yet, but we're getting her into it. She loves this blouse. She was commenting on how, I wanted to read it because her verbiage was so cute, but it was just simply, she got everything she wanted. And she'd had issues with blouses in the past. And then show the next one, and that's the back. Yeah, it's just really cute on her. Just really cute. She's little. She doesn't have a lot of fitting issues. So that's the good news. As the body gains weight, that fabric is $23.17. As the body gains weight, we have more changes that we'll see, but it doesn't mean there's a whole lot. There's just not. Okay, so let's go to the next one. No, I don't want to go there yet. All right, let's go back to that the one that you brought up that I didn't want you to bring up, I can't remember the number of it. It's the front, the back, and the sleeve.
Which one? The front, the back, and the sleeve? Which one?
It's pink. It had the template. The one, it's blue, I'm sorry. The one like that, but without the sleeve. I'm sorry, you guys. I usually write down numbers and I don't have, there we go. That one right there. That one. Perfect. Okay. So here's the lesson that I want. Whenever you've done, whatever fitting you've done to the bodice, take the bodice and separate it from the sleeve. So for instance, in this case, that little thing that's in the middle of you see the back on the left and the front is on the right. I want you to see that little thing in the middle. That's called a template. And basically what it is I have duplicated the armhole from the back. So you can kind of see that that's an exact duplication of the back armhole. Because now what I'm going to do is I can put it between any 2 points. So let's go through the changes you might make. Let's just say you change the shoulder angle. When you do that, you lower the A. You change the A. So you just take your little template and now you put it at your new point and the whole armhole is lowered.
Now that's only if your change for the front and the back are the exact same, correct?
So that's what I said. If you change the angle of the shoulder seam, which would be the same in the front and the back, then that's when you take the template and you put it on the new point and you lower it down. So the whole armhole just goes down. Okay, in the one case of a lady we fit, she wanted to use the size 1 shoulder, the 1 width, but she used a 3 blouse. So she had narrow shoulders and a larger bust. So the reason I drew that is I want that little notch right there in the back is I want you to see now that point 1 and point 2, they're 2 points. Don't worry that the armhole is curved. Don't worry about any of that. There's just 2 points once you've got that template. And point 1 can go anywhere along the shoulder that you want it to. It's the same in the front and the back. And point 2 hinges or swings out to the side seam. You might have to raise the side seam. You might have to lower the side seam. But it's just 2 points. 1 is at the shoulder. 2 is at the side. Period. That's it. Don't make up anything else. Don't add anything else in. That's it. Simple enough? Okay. So if you lower the shoulder seam, if you change it, if you correct it, you bring in your template, you lower the armhole. There's no reason to change the sleeve. There's nothing wrong with the sleeve. You didn't do anything to the sleeve, so don't change the sleeve. Okay. So I think you guys have all the information that you should have in order to do what you need to do. I think. Let's ask questions. Where is the proper shoulder top seam line supposed to be? There is no proper top shoulder seam line, okay? That's just erroneous. Seams are simply sewing cloth together. Their alignment to the body, physically, is 0. 0 zip. There's no pattern making rules that tell you any alignment points to the body of seams, period. We see that because we have yokes, we have forward shoulders, we have side panels. I mean, we actually know that. We just don't really pull it together to say, aha, you're right. Doesn't matter where those seams go. The only problem that we're experiencing is somebody along the line has beat into our brain that there is a point, a line to the ear, a line to this, a line to my finger. I mean, all these crazy things have been made up and told us. Okay? Okay. Do I need 2 templates? 1 for the front and 1 for the back armhole. You will. In fact, you're going to need more than 2 because there's 4 sleeves. Remember? There's a sleeveless. You'll need a front and back for that. There's a knit. You'll need a front and back for that. There's a blouse. You'll need a front and back for that. And there's a jacket. You'll need a front and back for that. So you will have 8 templates. Okay?
And your front and back doesn't have to equal.
Your front and back are yours. You're the fit model. The front and back are yours. Don't Don't create anything in your head. Don't try not to add any information that's not necessary. It's hard for you guys to do. And, you know, Brett, they're behind the scenes, we were talking earlier. Learning is what was the word you used, Brett? Learning is complex as an adult because we come forward and we have all this information in our head and we actually don't know what to leave out and what not to leave out. And so we use it all. In trying to come up with a solution, we just kind of use it all. And some of it actually handicaps us. It doesn't help us. I guess that's the best way I know how to say it. Okay. Questions, Belinda's journey. If the armhole go lower on the side, if the armhole is lowered on the side seam of the back, what do you do with the front? Well, you can't see. Okay, so let me just tell you something. If you guys don't do this, you will never understand the process. Belinda had a deadline and she had to do it. I can answer questions for you all day long. When you take up that shoulder seam, you are changing the front and the back. So you automatically lower the front and the back and the side seams will still match. I can't encourage you enough to do it because it's your time and it's your blouse. But I can tell by questions that you haven't done it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have those questions. Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to go through the process, but keep in mind, it's only one time. Then you'll have all the answers. You just have to, look up Belinda's notes. They're adorable. She's got her notes here.
They were scribbled at home. I couldn't read them anymore.
So she typed them.
Yeah, every time I was talking to you, I thought, man, I don't understand what I'm saying. I don't see how she understands.
Well, I'm not sure what reference she's making, but we definitely, I think it's terrific. I think she did a terrific job and she pushed through. And I know there was times she was frustrated. And I know there's times she didn't believe me because I said, just do this. And she was like, well, that's not going to work. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I give up. If you're not going to listen, I can't help you. Okay. Yeah. But it is our tendency. I get it all the time. People in class will say, well, are you sure? No, I'm not sure. I'm positive. How's that?
And I guess I thought partly that my rounded back adjustments would also fix my forward shoulder, and it didn't. So that was a big eye-opener, too.
I even hate all these names we've given everything.
Yeah.
Because they're very misleading. You don't have any of those issues. It's just the pattern. The pattern's wrong. All you're going to do is get the pattern to match.
To match
and
my
this
body.
is the way you're going to do it.
And I'm the fit model now, so...
But when you make those changes, you do have to pay attention to change the accompanying pieces. And it would make sense that if you added to the back and took away from the front, that you have to do that on the sleeve. It's so logical, but sometimes we don't see logic because of what's been in our head in the past. Mm-hmm. If you change the front angle of the shoulder seam, not the back, you can't do that. You can't change the front angle and not the back. You can't. It's a shoulder angle. It's not about the front and the back. It's about the shoulder. It only has one angle. It has to be the same in the front as it does in the back. So see, there again, I know that you're making up scenarios. Not that you're not nervous. I get that. But you can't possibly do that. So that, I know, is a theory question rather than an actual experience question. Is that fair to say?
Except that if you are struggling with that forward shoulder...
No, she said angle. That's not angle.
Well, okay.
That's position of the shoulder seam.
Okay, fair enough.
Remember I said there was two different steps here. One is the angle, and one is where that seam goes. Those are two different things.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay?
I'm just jumping ahead.
No. That's okay. She was too, whoever asked the question. Okay, what else? Do you mean we need to adjust the front and back of the armhole in order to have matching side seams? If you change the front and the back, it feels like this is a little out of context because I don't know what you changed. But if you change the shoulder seam, and if you picked it up to change the shoulder angle, you already changed the front and the back. You changed the shoulder seam. You can't change the shoulder seam at the shoulder seam without changing the front and the back. So then you have to lower the armhole. Front and back. Yes, use your templates and lower it down. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay. So, Belinda, I don't know if you want to sit, but I want to go through some styles.
Okay.
Because, again, I took this 600 blouse, and there's some just amazing styles out there that are so trending right now that I really, for me, sometimes if I had a great style or a great something that I wanted to do, I would kind of push through the fitting or getting the style changes done or whatever because I really wanted that end result. And so that's where I want to go with you all. Okay, so the first one that I have on, well, no, let's go to the, sorry, there's a question. If you change the front angle, no, we already answered that. How do you know how much to change the front and back? Sorry, what was that? Never mind. Okay. Remember that in Belinda's, when I showed you the back and the plus and the front and the minus, I didn't use numbers, but they're equal to whatever she added to the back. So if she added to the back, she adds to the back of the sleeve. If she takes away from the front, she takes away from the front of the sleeve. And I showed that diagram, cutting to the bottom, opening up the back, closing up the front. Back plus, front minus. So sometimes if you just listen to this over and over, it'll come to you. But I would suggest you drape while you're listening to it, just so that you go back to the last one, and this one's on sleeves. Okay. So I do want to go back on one thing because there was an issue with someone who I draped, and I want to explain that to you. But I need to go back to that same, I'm sorry, Benjamin, the blue one. The blue one with the sleeve in the middle. Yeah, nope, not that one, the other blue one. Sorry. Okay, so this blue one, yeah, that one. This blue one right here, again, I want you to see that the A equals A and B equals B. So I'm going to give you a scenario, and this is a test, and see if you all can solve it. So this person, and let's make that larger if you don't mind. This person wants to, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a test and see if you guys get this. We're going to make it larger so you can see it. Perfect. Okay, so this person now has this armhole in the sleeve and the two fit each other, and she's really happy. Except what she wants now is she wants the armhole to be 2 inches smaller. 2 inches smaller. So when you say that, when you hear that, do I change A? Do I change B?
B. Because that would affect circumference. Take the tuck at the top.
A is the length of the armhole, B is the width of the armhole. So if I want the armhole to be smaller, I can't take away from B because that's what gives the armhole the ability to go around the body.
Okay.
The only option I have is A because that will bring the armhole up.
Okay.
Even though I'm actually drawing it and changing B, it's A that's getting shorter. I need you to understand that. So in this case, I'm going to add an inch to the back, an inch to the front because she wants it to be 2 inches smaller. I'm going to connect it all the way back up, but I've made A shorter. So if I took my little template and literally just took an inch out of it and then laid it back down, you could see that it would become an inch higher. Is that fair?
Okay.
Okay, but now that I've done that, I've changed A on the sleeve. And so I'm going to take a tuck all the way across A, across the cap. I don't change B, the width is fine, but I take a tuck across A. That equals how much I raised A up by. That's it. Okay? So, I would only suggest you do that. I've hesitated to show you this, and the reason being is because so many of you, when the blouse is on you and it's sleeveless, you say, oh, I want the armhole to be smaller. It's an incorrect conclusion to make when the blouse is on your body in a muslin sleeveless. because all blouses feel like the armhole is too big at that point. You have to trust the pattern. You have to trust something in the beginning. You have to put it in, and then you can say, I want XYZ. But it's premature to get it all into one shot. I think that's a fair statement.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a process, and unless you've got something to measure. If you've got something to measure, you can get it in one fell swoop. But if you don't have something to measure, you can't. Okay? Okay, what way would you press the sleeve seam? Toward the bodice or toward the sleeve? It goes toward the bodice, always. I'm sorry, except in a jacket, it goes to the sleeve. So if you change the angle of the shoulder 1/2 inch less, going to nothing at the neck, you lower the armhole 1/2 inch both front and back. Yay! Way to go! If I shorten shoulder seam length, I don't know what that word is, but we'll just say, okay. If you change the armhole at all, you redraw it with a template. You should not change your sleeve. The only time you should change the sleeve is like in Belinda's case, where we added to the back and took away from the front. That's it. And that's because her body was rounded and her back armhole was much longer than her front. Otherwise, don't change the sleeve. Is that fair?
Very fair.
Okay. If I shorten, I don't know what that shorten shoulder seam length. I've tried to go through terminology so that don't make stuff up. The width of the shoulders, is that what she's talking?
I think it's the width.
Okay, so if you're trying to narrow a shoulder, use your template. Okay, so let's do styles now. Let's play with styles. Okay, so if we'll go to picture number 4. No, 5. 4. 4. There we go. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Benjamin. Okay. Okay, so I wanted you to see this and I wanted you to see my inspiration. So that white top there, where you see that photo, is the inspiration for the classic blouse, because I looked at that blouse and, like, I'm 61, I'm not interested in my cleavage, and I'm not interested in some of this stuff, but I love the ruffle, I loved the effect of it, I liked a V-neck, I liked all of that, and I like that it's a woven blouse. So I used 600, and you can see here's my ruffle on the front. All right, so I'm just going to take you through and show you how to do this. I just absolutely love this blouse. Now keep in mind that what I did is I made it longer, and the reason I made it longer was because I wanted to wear it like with leggings. Oops, it came out. Belinda, thank you. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Okay, so let me show you what I did. I don't need any of those, you guys. Oh, the fabric. I'm sorry. The fabric is $23.53. This is a Rebecca Taylor. It's a silk. It's really pretty. It's just and very easy to sew with. So again, what I love about sewing is you get to choose all these options. So the first thing I did was I copied where I wanted the ruffle to go, and I used the photo to somewhat approximize that. If you notice, the ruffle went down about your waist. I made a V-neck. My V I used, I think I used 9 to 13. No, I'm sorry. I used 9. I don't remember. I don't know that it matters. Just make a V-neck, or put the French curve on a V-neck that you like, and then draw your V-neck. Okay? Then you're going to make a copy of what that V-neck looks like. So there's my original. So I started the shoulder seam. There's my V-neck, and it decided how long it was going to be. Okay? Then you cut all these edges. And what we know about ruffles is they're 1 to 1.5. So I measured this first. It was 18. And I decided to go 1 to 1.5. And I went all the way to whatever it was, 1 to 1.5. And you can see there's the spreading of this piece. And you can see as it spreads, it goes around and makes that. Very easy to do. And so you can see that's the ruffle. It's longer on this edge, it's not changing on this edge. And I did that to the back also. Okay? So then when I sewed it, I went ahead and completely made the ruffle. I did a little rolled edge because I felt like the ruffle would hang the best with a little rolled edge, but you could do lots of different finishes, no big deal. And then you put the wrong side of the ruffle to the wrong side of the blouse. You fold it out, and that's it. It's really easy to do. Finish up the neck
Right
edge.
side of the ruffle to the wrong side of the blouse.
The right side of the ruffle?
The right side of the ruffle to the wrong side of the blouse, so that when it flips out,
Yes,
then the right
thank
side
you.
is showing.
Thank you. It's the right side of the ruffle. Thanks, Belinda. It's the right side of the ruffle to the wrong side of the blouse, and you just sewed it all the way around. And then when it flips out, I didn't even top stitch it. I didn't do anything. It stays really pretty. And then I did a short sleeve because that's what I wanted. I cut it longer. I cut it 6 inches longer so I could wear it with just jean leggings. You know, what I love about these little silk blouses is dress them down. Just dress them down. I love the colors in this and everything else. So put on a little belt, thin belt, wide belt, doesn't make a difference. And it's just really, really flattering. Or you don't have to do a belt at all. You just do your darts. Just use your darts. But that's pattern 600. We saw pattern 600 in this tied front. Over here. I guess I should bring it over. I know I've got Belinda sandwiched in a corner over there. Anyway, we already saw this. It's a tied front. I showed you how to do that. And then 600 last week on the YouTube, I showed you how to do it. It's the white one I have on. And then what I want to show them is the next photo. This one. This one is in Nordstrom's. We've actually got this fabric. This is Lafayette 148. And I don't have the fabrics up yet. I'll have them up by morning. But anyway, this is a shirt dress. And these shirt dresses are really popular for spring and summer. And so I made myself a shirt dress, which is the one I've got on. And I love it. And the fabric I used was 2340. So what I did, and it's got a little pink. So I've actually got 600 over 600, I guess is what I wanted you to see. Which is kind of cool. When you look at all the variations of the different pattern we can do and how easily it is, I want you to get the fit down so you can have fun playing with all the other stuff. So with the 600 blouse, all I did was cut it longer. I added 15 inches to the bottom. My back is longer than my front because I just really like that. You throw it on with a pair of sandals and it's just cool and cute. And so I left it to where I could tie it in the front or I could put on a belt. And then I don't know if y'all remember, but I had made this. This was 211 and it's pink and it's really cute with this too. It's really cute. So I've got a couple different options as far as wearing it over the dress. So I didn't want to do darts. I wanted to leave it loose and just, go from there. So anyway, just some ideas. Okay, let's answer questions. This is fast and furious. I thought when Belinda made her original muslin, the armhole both in the front and the back was not changed. Okay, so that's wrong. We did add to the back and we took away from the front. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's just incorrect. So the rest of that is incorrect. Yeah, because we did change it. We added to the back and took away from the front. Okay, so regarding shortening armhole of previous question. Is this a separate question or is she's still asking the same? So regarding shortening the armhole, after changing the angle, do I shorten it at A? Hey, you guys, just use your template. Just draw a template. Whatever you change on the armhole, just restore it with a template. That's it. Quit worrying about the numbers. I think that's what I was worried about tonight, is that you guys get so into the numbers, they kind of intimidate you. If you change the armhole, bring your template in, restore the armhole. That's it. It's really simple. Can we see the back of the blouse? The blue one? Yeah. Yep. I thought you wanted to see the back of Belinda. No. I can't thank Belinda enough. I mean, really, I think she's taught me that whenever there's communication, there is going to go askew.
Yeah. But
I've definitely found some things of what I've said and how you're hearing them versus how I'm saying them. Mm-hmm. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. And she worked really hard to get us to figure that out. All right. Do you suggest making a body double fit form to make yourself more easy if you're fitting yourself alone? I do not.
Mm-mm. I would have never seen the shoulder.
The shoulder, it doesn't help you diagnose it, you guys. The shoulder angle, if you can duplicate your shoulder angle on that body form, I would probably pay you a lot of money because it's not going to happen. The depth is the thing you struggle with the most, and the depth, you don't need somebody else. You need to understand the information, and you need to do it. You need to do it. I think that's the only thing I can say to you over and over. Did you make short sleeves on the dress you have on? No, on the dress I have on, I did sleeveless. I did sleeveless because it was going, the things that I was wearing over it, this and also this 211, they both had sleeves. So I wanted it to be sleeveless. When you lengthen the blouse pattern to make a dress, I always need to add extra for the bottom part of my body. Should I go up a size when I do that? Well, you don't necessarily need to go up a size. You could just, whatever's easy for you. Yes. No, don't go up a size just for your hips. Can't believe I just said yes. No, don't go up a size just for your hips. Just curve it out. It's all done in the side seam. Just add as much as what you need. It's very easy to do. Okay? So the template is made from the original armhole. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. That's the starting point. Very good. Yes. And remember, it's kind of like marriage. The armhole and the sleeve go everywhere together. They're not allowed to go on separate vacations. Armhole and sleeve go everywhere together. Period. End of story. Where the sleeve goes, the armhole goes. You're not allowed to get mad at each other. You can't do any of that stuff. Is the white cover-up a knit or a woven? Mine is a knit. We did this in last Thursday's YouTube, this that I have on. Yes. All right, let's do a giveaway. We've got a few minutes left, and we have a video, and that video is called just exactly what I think you can do, and that is fit yourself by yourself. And having a buddy who doesn't know what they're doing is way worse than doing this on your own. You know, when we were in New York, the New York fabric buying trip was last time. Oh, the keyword, I'm sorry. The keyword, if I tell them the keyword, they'll never listen. The keyword is fitting. F-I-T-T-I-N-G. All small caps. Fitting, F-I-T-T-I-N-G. For those of you watching this after the fact, don't email me. Don't put it in the chat. It's only live. Sorry about that. We don't have any other way to give things away. But anyway, it's only in the chat. And for those of you watching, if you'll enter the word fitting. Okay, so we were in New York. And, you know, we've got, 50-something ladies. And it's just the happiest place on earth. Disney World, Disneyland, ain't got nothing on 50-something ladies shopping for fabric in New York City.
Amen.
And like someone wrote me an email afterwards thanking me just because friendships are forming. Life is all about great relationships. And when we can have great relationships with people that we can talk endlessly about the shoulder angle and the bust dart, it doesn't get any better. It's just so much fun. And that's exactly it. You want to find a fitting person. You know, some of our workshops that we're doing throughout the country, people are meeting each other. They're hooking up. So for no other reason, come and, meet somebody who lives close by in one of those things. Get their email, et cetera, and help each other. And I don't think, I won't say that. But anyway, I think it helps for two people to chime in. But they have to be on the same playing field.
They have to have the right information.
They have to have the right information. You have the information, it's just how we're hearing it. So, again, it helps to hear these videos over and over. I know you all know that. Just be careful in the process. When you added 8 inches to your white wrap you have on, did you add just 2 inches to the side seams? 2 inches to each side seam. That's total, yes, totally 8 inches. Did you extend the dart out on the side seam? The dart, yes. Does your dress have a shirt tail hem? Yes. I know you can't see it, but it does, yes. It's longer in the back than it is in the front. And I love it. This fabric is, it's just really fun. All right, so the problem is the chat. Because so many people are putting in the word fitting, the questions get blown away. So it's hard to find questions among all the entries. Sorry about that. But again, I want to say thanks to Belinda. Thanks to Donna and Olivia for sending those photos and for the other two. Because the questions are really important. You getting it is really most important, because once you get it, it's amazing how many people say to me, oh, like that was so easy. Yeah. But it's helpful to get it and then work your way back. If the blouse armhole is usually larger, do you make it smaller if going sleeveless? Remember, you have 4 armholes. You don't have 4 armholes just because today's Monday and I want you to have 4 armholes. You have 4 armholes because they're different sizes. So in order from small to large, they are sleeveless, knit, blouse, jacket. That's in order from smaller to larger. Someone asked me to overlay templates. No. You guys got to do that yourselves. The more I do for you, the less you'll do for yourself. Isn't that terrible to say? It's true. You guys can take your templates and overlay them so you can see the differences. The smallest is sleeveless. It doesn't have a sleeve to go in. I can make it as small as I want. Then there's knit because it stretches. Then there's blouse. Then there's jacket. All right, we got that? Do we have a winner? Fitting yourself by yourself. You know, I don't think we changed the price on this. I think it was on sale for the weekend, and I think we said Sunday was the last day. But I don't think we changed the price back. So if you order it, please order it. Just please watch it. Help me out here, you guys. It really is so easy, but it's that previous information that is just stuck in your head. You guys, just to go over the fabrics, I don't think the white... my white overlay that I have is 2414. And then the navy that Belinda did is 2464. And then this is 2340. Rebecca Taylor, the little pink dots. The striped, there was 2 fabrics, 2343 and 2344. Belinda had on 2299. That was her black and white. Mm-hmm. The first one she did. And then 2353 is this floral. I love this blouse. I mean, it's so cute on. And there's no openings. You just slip it on over your head and fasten it with a belt. It's real cute. And then Olivia, her white on white embroidered was 2317. Okay, and we'll have them all up for you afterwards. Do we have a winner? Have a winner? Who's AF? Well, that's a descriptive name. That person wants to stay anonymous. AF, if you'll just shoot me an email, you won the video. And if you've ordered from us before, you don't need an address. But if you haven't, we'll need an address. And we'll ship it out to you. Congratulations. So that's our way of saying thank you for watching. Do we have a question? Let me answer one more question. Once you make a muslin, it's a muslin, just ends with N, just to make sure. Once you make a muslin and then a template of the armhole, is that what you use for every garment thereafter? Yes!
In that category.
The template never changes apart from needing 4 different ones. Perfect. Yes. You guys, that's why it makes it so easy. Because if I decide, like, you know, I'm going to make a blouse, and if I'm going to make it knit, I just put my knit armhole and my knit sleeve on the blouse. And I connect the shoulder seam and the side seam. That's it, Elroy. Done, and home run. All right. Thank you all behind the scenes. They've been so patient today. There's so many photos we got up. Appreciate you all being there. Belinda, again, many thanks. Belinda, as I know, is excited. She's going to go home and sew. She can do this really easily now.
Yes.
All right. Thanks to all of you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And we have the April. Nope, this is April. We have the May pattern of the month. There's there's space in Portland. If you're going to be in Portland, I'm going to be in Portland this weekend. And I wanted to mention Pendleton, because Pendleton is one of our sponsors in Portland, and they're having fitting workshops in the Pendleton Portland store, the fabric store. They're doing like a jack. Anyway, they're doing some fitting, so contact them. And then Keystone is the next weekend, and Dallas is the next weekend. So if you guys have any of these little workshops you want to get into, home run. All right. Later. Bye.